Hi, everybody, and welcome back. Today's story is somehow both disgusting and emotionally unbelievable at the same time. Because imagine dating someone for over 2 years. Everything normal, everything healthy. Then one random month, your boyfriend suddenly stops showering almost completely because some internet influencer convinced him. Real men reject modern hygiene. Yeah, that is today's nightmare. And honestly, the final public humiliation this man experienced felt completely deserved. So, our narrator is a 27-year-old woman named Sophie. Sophie lived in Denver, worked remotely in graphic design, loved routine, loved cleanliness, not obsessive cleanliness, obviously, just normal adult hygiene standards. Important detail. Because according to Sophie, her boyfriend Ryan used to be completely normal too, like genuinely normal. They dated for almost 3 years, shared an apartment eventually, went hiking together, cooked together. Typical healthy, long term relationship stuff. And honestly, before this situation, Sophie genuinely thought Ryan might become her future husband someday. Now Ryan worked in fitness coaching online, not huge influencer level famo. Us, but enough social media involvement that he constantly consumed motivational podcasts and self improvement content. Again, important detail, very important, because apparently his algorithm slowly transformed into absolute madness over time. At first, it seemed harmless, honestly cold showers, protein obsession, weird productivity routines, nothing alarming. Then Ryan started following this one male influencer constantly, a guy named Marcus Vale, and honestly, the second Sophie described this man, I already knew disaster was coming. Apparently, Marcus made aggressive alpha masculinity content online. Constant gym clips, shouting about modern society, claiming men became soft. Typical internet podcast goblin energy. Now, at first, Sophie mostly ignored it because adults watch dumb content online constantly, not unusual. But slowly, Ryan's behavior started changing in weird ways. He became obsessed with rejecting weakness, started calling basic comforts conditioning, even mocked people for using scented products eventually. And honestly, Sophie still thought this phase would disappear naturally after a while, until the shower situation began. Oh well, according to Sophie, it started small initially. Ryan skipped one shower after gym workouts saying, soap strips masculine oils. Excuse me? Masculine oils sounds like something discovered in a cave, honestly. Then he stopped using deodorant too. Claim natural body scent shows confidence, sir. Number. Then things escalated fast. Ryan started bragging about using water only cleansing methods, which apparently meant standing underwater briefly without soap, like a medieval peasant emotionally. And honestly, Sophie tried staying polite at first. Because nobody wants becoming the nagging girlfriend stereotype over hygiene discussions. But within 2 weeks, the apartment smelled horrifying. Gym clothes everywhere, sweaty sheets, couch cushions absorbing odor, and according to Sophie, Ryan himself started smelling genuinely unbearable. Not slight body odor, aggressive, like damp towels mixed with expired onions somehow. That description alone spiritually damaged me, honestly. Then came the worst part. Whenever Sophie carefully brought up hygiene concerns, Ryan immediately accused her of trying to control his masculinity. And trust me, the deeper Ryan felt into this influencer nonsense, the more disgusting the entire situation became. At first, Sophie genuinely thought Ryan might be joking, because honestly, no reasonable adult suddenly abandons soap after listening to podcasts for 3 weeks. At least that is what she assumed, but unfortunately, Ryan became completely serious about it. And according to Sophie, the influencer Marcus Vale apparently preached this whole ideology about chemical dependency, meaning soap, deodorant, shampoo, and even toothpaste supposedly weakened masculinity somehow. Sir, civilization invented hygiene for a reason. Now, the craziest part, Ryan repeated these talking points constantly like religious scripture. Your skin heals naturally without products. Real men don't smell like artificial perfume. Society profits from insecurity. Again, interesting theories from a man whose gym socks could legally qualify as biological weapons emotionally. Then the smell situation became impossible ignoring. And honestly, Sophie tried being gentle initially. Very gentle. She bought new body wash hoping Ryan might casually use it. Nope, he called it corporate toxin sludge. Toxin sludge. Actual phrase. Then Sophie suggested maybe showering after workout specifically. Ryan immediately became defensive. "You're acting controlling lately." Boom! There it was. The manipulation angle. Because once people make bizarre lifestyle choices, criticism somehow becomes oppression automatically. Then came another horrifying detail. Ryan stopped washing bed sheets regularly too. Apparently, Marcus Vale claimed natural male pheromones strengthen relationships. Excuse me? The only thing strengthening there was bacterial evolution. And according to Sophie, sleeping beside Ryan became genuinely difficult physically. The bedroom smelled awful constantly. Pillows absorbed sweat. Even their dog apparently started avoiding Ryan's side of the couch eventually. That detail honestly ended me emotionally. Then Sophie noticed something even stranger. Ryan became weirdly arrogant about the entire situation. Like avoiding soap transformed him spiritually somehow. He mocked co-workers wearing cologne, made comments about weak modern men, even bragged online about his primitive discipline journey. Sir, you are refusing deodorant, not surviving wilderness combat. Then came the dinner party incident. Oh my god. This was the first moment Sophie realized outsiders noticed too. One evening, they attended a small birthday gathering with friends, and according to Sophie, the second Ryan entered the apartment, people physically reacted. Subtle reactions, but obvious. One friend opened windows quietly. Another moved farther away during conversation. At one point, somebody literally sprayed air freshener nearby, pretending it was accidental. Absolute disaster socially. Meanwhile, Ryan either ignored everything or genuinely failed noticing. Then, during the drive home, Sophie carefully tried bringing it up again. Very carefully. And honestly, Ryan's response genuinely shocked her. He actually accused Sophie of being brainwashed by beauty industry propaganda. Sir, this is not beauty industry propaganda. People simply want breathing safely indoors. Then Ryan said something that really stayed with Sophie emotionally. If you love me authentically, my natural scent wouldn't bother you. Oh my god, that sentence alone would emotionally launch me into space honestly. Because manipulative people always transform reasonable boundaries into moral failures somehow, and trust me, once Ryan started forcing this natural masculinity nonsense onto other areas of their relationship too, Sophie's patience completely collapsed. After the dinner party disaster, Sophie stopped thinking this was just a weird phase. Now she felt genuinely concerned. Because Ryan was not only refusing hygiene anymore, he was reshaping his entire personality around this influencer nonsense. And honestly, that part sounds terrifying emotionally. Suddenly, everything became alpha discipline. Ryan criticized grocery choices, mocked people drinking iced coffee, started calling basic self care consumer weakness. Sir, you sell online fitness coaching through Instagram. Please relax spiritually. Then came another horrifying development. Ryan stopped brushing his teeth consistently too. Yeah, we somehow descended even deeper into biological warfare territory. Apparently, Marcus Vale promoted oral microbiome restoration, which Ryan interpreted as avoiding toothpaste because fluoride supposedly suppressed primal energy. I swear these influencers invent phrases using random science words emotionally. And according to Sophie, the smell became unbearable at that point. Not just body odor anymore, breath too. The apartment genuinely smelled stale constantly. Candles stopped helping. Open windows barely helped. At one point, Sophie sprayed fabric disinfectant directly onto the couch cushions while Ryan was still sitting there. Honestly, iconic behavior. Then Ryan started accusing Sophie of rejecting his authentic self. Authentic self, so, includes soap. Then came the laundry problem. Oh my god, the laundry problem. Apparently, Ryan decided modern detergents also contained hormone disruptors. So he started washing clothes minimally using vinegar and water occasionally, meaning gym clothes basically marinated inside sweat permanently. And according to Sophie, their bedroom closet smelled like abandoned football equipment mixed with wet concrete somehow. That description genuinely damaged me spiritually, honestly. Then Sophie finally reached her emotional breaking point one morning. She woke up because Ryan's pillow smell literally made her nauseous. Not exaggeration, actual nausea. So she stripped the entire bed immediately and started washing everything. And according to her, Ryan became furious. Furious, claimed she, violated his boundaries by washing his sheets without permission. Excuse me, your bacteria violated the apartment first, honestly. Then Ryan launched into another speech about modern women trying to feminize men. There it was. The influencer brain rot fully arrived. Because once internet gurus start defining hygiene as weakness, every disagreement becomes gender warfare somehow. Then Sophie finally searched Marcus Vale online herself. And honestly, that rabbit hole sounded insane. Apparently, this man sold courses about reclaiming masculine instincts, thousands of dollars, and one entire section promoted avoiding soap because natural male musk creates dominance energy. Dominance energy. Sir, you smell like expired yogurt emotionally? Then Sophie discovered online forums full of men actually following this advice seriously, comparing water only streaks, mocking deodorant users, encouraging each other, rejecting corporate cleanliness culture. Honestly, the internet needs supervision sometimes. Then came the most humiliating moment yet. Sophie's younger sister visits Ed the apartment unexpectedly one afternoon, and according to Sophie, the second her sister walked inside, she physically paused near the doorway, then whispered quietly, "What died in here?" Boom. Absolute destruction. And honestly, that moment finally broke Sophie emotionally, because now the problem escaped private relationship territory completely. Other people noticed instantly. Then her sister asked the worst possible question. "Wait, is that smell Ryan?" And trust me, the conversation afterward became unbelievably awkward. Sophie said that conversation with her sister felt deeply humiliating. Because once outsiders notice relationship problems immediately, denial becomes impossible emotionally. Her sister tried staying polite at first, very polite, but apparently the apartment genuinely smelled horrible. Candles burning, windows open, air purifier running. And still, Ryan's natural masculinity journey overpowered modern technology completely. Then things somehow became even worse. Ryan walked into the living room wearing gym clothes he claimed were still clean enough. Oh no, absolute catastrophic timing. And according to Sophie, her sister PH, physically leaned backward slightly once Ryan sat nearby. That detail honestly killed me emotionally. Then Ryan started talking proudly about his new lifestyle philosophy. Huge mistake. Because Sophie's sister studied biology in college, meaning she immediately started dismantling his arguments scientifically. Calmly, too. Very calmly. He
Her
called
sister
her
explained how
indoctrinated.
bacteria growth
Boom.
works.
Classic
How
move.
sweat itself
Whenever
is not
reality
the issue, but
disagrees,
bacterial
everybody
buildup.
else becomes brainwashed somehow. Then Ryan said something so embarrassing Sophie almost left the room emotionally. He claimed ancient warriors didn't use deodorant. Sir, ancient warriors also died from infected splinters and lacked indoor plumbing. Why are we using them as skincare influencers? Then Sophie's sister delivered one of the funniest lines honestly. Well, ancient warriors probably smelled awful too. Absolute silence afterward. Because honestly, correct. Then after her sister left, Ryan became genuinely angry with Sophie, claimed she set him up to be mocked. Excuse me? Nobody forced you becoming a human biohazard voluntarily. Then came another horrifying development. Ryan started trying converting Sophie herself into natural living. Yeah. Apparently his influencer obsession evolved into relationship missionary work emotionally. He criticized her shampoo, complained about scented candles, even suggested she detox from deodorant for 1 week together. Sir, absolutely not. And according to Sophie, that proposal genuinely terrified her spiritually. Then Ryan accused Sophie of rejecting his growth. Growth, interesting word for fungal apartment evolution, honestly. Then came the gym situation. Oh my god. Apparently Ryan's own clients started noticing the smell too. One client quietly cancelled sessions. Another apparently offered him gum repeatedly during training. And according to Sophie, Ryan still refused connecting basic cause and effect somehow. Instead, he blamed modern society. Your intolerance for natural bodies. Natural bodies, sir! Even cavemen probably jumped into rivers occasionally emotionally. And Sophie finally hit her breaking point during grocery shopping because while standing in checkout lines, she noticed strangers subtly reacting to Ryan too. People stepping farther away. One little kid literally asked his mother, "Why does that man smell weird?" Boom. Children always destroy people honestly, and according to Sophie, Ryan still somehow blamed everyone except himself afterward. He actually muttered, "People are conditioned against real masculinity. People are conditioned against public biological warfare." Huge difference. Then Sophie realized something important emotionally. This was no longer just annoying behavior. Ryan genuinely prioritized internet validation over basic adult functioning. And trust me, once his own friends finally confronted him publicly too, the entire relationship completely exploded. Now, according to Sophie, Ryan's friend group used to be completely normal. Important detail, because this was not some weird anti-soap cult originally. These were ordinary guys. Sports bars, fantasy football, all, gym selfies, typical male friendship stuff. And honestly, most of them already looked uncomfortable around Ryan's hygiene situation long before anybody admitted it openly. But male friend groups sometimes avoid awkward confrontation forever emotionally. Then came poker night. Oh my god, poker night changed everything. Apparently, Ryan hosted several friends at the apartment one Saturday evening, while Sophie worked late nearby. And according to her, she noticed the atmosphere felt strange immediately once she arrived home. Too quiet, too tense. Then she walked into the kitchen and saw air freshener cans sitting everywhere. Multiple cans. Boom. Huge sign. Then Ryan's friend Derek awkwardly greeted Sophie before immediately opening another window wider. Honestly incredible behavior. Meanwhile, Ryan sat on the couch acting irritated already, and according to Sophie, the smell inside the apartment reached terrifying levels. Because apparently Ryan finished intense workouts earlier than wore the same clothes all evening during poker. Absolutely criminal behavior, honestly. Then came the moment that finally shattered Ryan's denial publicly. One friend named Matt quietly asked, "Dude, are you okay health-wise or something?" Boom. Not even rude initially. Concerned. Very concerned. Ryan immediately got defensive though. No. Why? A silence afterwards sounded brutal, because nobody wanted saying it directly first. Then Derek finally muttered, "Bro, you kinda smell really bad lately." Absolute destruction. Sophie later admitted she almost felt relieved hearing someone else finally say it openly, because once outsiders confirm reality, manipulators lose power emotionally. Then Ryan laughed, awkwardly pretending confidence. "It's natural body chemistry." "Sir, that is not chemistry anymore." "That is environmental warfare." Then Matt looked genuinely confused. "No offense, man, but it smells like something died in your hoodie." Honestly, men roast each other viciously once honesty starts flowing emotionally. And according to Sophie, Ryan's entire face changed instantly after that. Not embarrassed exactly, angry. Because internet brainwashed people often interpret disagreement as persecution automatically. Then Ryan launched into another Marcus Vail speech. Modern society. Masculinity suppression. Chem. ICAL dependency. The whole podcast starter pack. And honestly, watching his own friends react sounded incredible. Pure confusion. At one point, Derek literally asked, "Wait, this started because of TikTok?" Boom. Direct E. Because once dumb ideas get explained out loud publicly, they sound even dumber somehow. Then Matt asked the funniest question imaginable. "So your plan is just never shower again?" "Sir, exactly. That is literally the plan somehow." Then things became painfully awkward. Because apparently one friend quietly admitted his girlfriend refused letting Ryan ride in their car anymore due to the smell. Oh my god. Another guy confessed he noticed gym members avoiding equipment after Ryan used it. Absolute social destruction. And according to Sophie, Ryan still refused accepting responsibility somehow. Instead, he accused everybody of falling for corporate hygiene propaganda. Corporate hygiene propaganda sounds like a rejected Batman villain, honestly. Then came the moment Sophie knew the relationship was truly over emotionally. Ryan looked directly at her in front of everyone and said, "You've obviously been talking about me behind my back, X. Can you please?" "Sir, your own order," introduced itself publicly before Sophie needed saying anything. And trust me, the dinner confrontation afterward became even worse somehow. After poker night, the apartment atmosphere became unbearable emotionally and physically, because now Ryan knew people noticed. But instead of feeling embarrassed normally, he became defensive and paranoid. Huge difference. And honestly, that reaction told Sophie everything she needed knowing. Because reasonable people feel concerned once multiple friends mention hygiene issues. Ryan treated it like ideological warfare somehow. Then the influencer obsession escalated even further. Apparently, Marcus Vail uploaded a new video called "Modern Hygiene is Destroying Masculine Power." I swear these titles sound AI generated inside abandoned gyms emotionally. And according to Sophie, Ryan watched the entire thing twice, then spent the next 3 days ranting about breaking conditioning. Meanwhile, their apartment smelled like a wet locker room emotionally possessed by onions. Then came another horrifying detail. Ryan stopped showering entirely for almost 10 full days. 10. Now, honestly, some people online later accused Sophie of exaggerating. Absolutely not. Because according to her, Ryan genuinely believed water-only cleansing became weak, compromised behavior now, meaning he barely rinsed himself at all anymore. And apparently his scalp started looking greasy constantly too. At one point, Sophie said his pillowcase literally stained yellowish from sweat and oil buildup. That sentence alone spiritually damaged me. Then Ryan started sleeping shirtless because he claimed fabric trapped natural heat balance. Sir, the natural heat balance currently smells illegal emotionally. Then came the restaurant disaster. Oh my god, this was the beginning of the end completely. One evening, Sophie and Ryan met several of his friends for dinner downtown, and according to Sophie, the second Ryan sat down at the restaurant table, people reacted subtly. Again, windows nearby opened slightly. One friend shifted chairs. The waitress looked visibly uncomfortable while taking orders. And honestly, you know situations become catastrophic once strangers notice immediately. Then, midway through dinner, Matt finally said what everybody already thought. Bro, seriously, this no shower thing has got to stop. Boom! Public confrontation officially began. Ryan immediately rolled his eyes dramatically. There it is again. More conditioning. Sir, the only conditioning happening is bacteria training for war. Then Derek added quietly, no dude, like, we're actually worried now. Important detail. Because his friends were not mocking initially. They genuinely sounded concerned. At one point, another guy asked if Ryan might have depression or burnout. Reasonable question, honestly. But Ryan became furious hearing it. Apparently, Marcus Vale also preached that society labels strong masculine resistance as mental instability. Of course he did. Then Ryan looked directly at Sophie in front of everybody and said, "You've clearly turned everyone against me." Excuse me? Your smell turned everyone against oxygen itself emotionally. And according to Sophie, that accusation flipped a switch inside her instantly. Because after weeks of manipulation, embarrassment, and biological terrorism, Ryan still blamed everybody else, never himself. Then came the final humiliating moment. The waitress returned carrying food. Paused brief. Lay near Ryan. And according to Sophie, the woman physically hesitated before setting plates down. Then she asked quietly, would anyone like extra napkins or maybe some sanitizer? Oh my god, absolute annihilation. Matt immediately started coughing, trying to hide laughter. Meanwhile, Ryan looked furious. But honestly, that was it for Sophie emotionally. Completely done. Because once restaurant staff start tactically offering sanitizer around your boyfriend, the relationship already died spiritually. And trust me, Sophie's public breakup speech afterward absolutely buried Ryan permanently. Sophie said something inside her just snapped during that dinner. Not dramatic screaming anger. Worse, clarity. Pure exhausted clarity. Because honestly, she spent weeks trying handling the situation gently, carefully, respectfully. Meanwhile, Ryan turned basic hygiene discussions into emotional manipulation and podcast philosophy. Enough. Then Ryan made one final catastrophic mistake. After the waitress left awkwardly, he laughed sarcastically and said, "See, even public places push chemical dependency culture now. Sir, that woman was fighting for survival emotionally." And according to Sophie, the entire table went silent after that sentence. Not supportive silence either, embarrassed silence, the kind where everyone suddenly realizes someone genuinely lost their mind. Then Derek quietly put his fork down and said, "Ryan." Boom. Direct hit. And honestly, that sentence visibly rattled Ryan for the first time all evening. Because deep down, people still crave social acceptance emotionally, even while pretending otherwise. Then Matt added another devastating line. "Dude, you smell so bad people literally avoid sitting near you now." Absolute destruction. Now honestly, most people would feel ashamed hearing that publicly. Ryan got angry instead. Huge sign, because once ego replaces self-awareness, criticism feels like attack automatically. Then Ryan pointed directly at Sophie. "This is because she's been complaining constantly and poisoning everyone against me." There it was, the blame shift. And according to Sophie, that accusation finally pushed her completely over the edge emotionally. because after weeks of embarrassment and manipulation, Ryan still somehow cast himself as the villain. Sitim. So Sophie stood up slowly, looked directly at him, and honestly, the speech she delivered afterward deserves framing permanently. She said, "No, Ryan, nobody poisoned anyone against you. You stopped showering for almost 2 weeks because a podcast man convinced you soap is feminism." Boom, the entire table froze instantly. Then Sophie kept going. "You made our apartment smell disgusting. You ruined dinners with friends. You blamed me every time I tried discussing basic hygiene. And now strangers physically react when you enter rooms. Absolute annihilation, honestly." Ryan looked completely stunned, not remorseful, just shocked somebody finally said everything publicly. Then Sophie delivered the final killing blow. "And honestly, I am exhausted pretending this behavior is deep or masculine when really you just smell insane." Oh my god. Matt physically bent forward, laughing into his hands immediately. Meanwhile, Derek looked seconds away from choking, trying not to react. Then Ryan stood up furious, claimed Sophie humiliated him publicly. Interesting, because he seemed perfectly comfortable humiliating her privately for weeks. Huge difference. Then Sophie against Omley removed her apartment key from her purse, placed it on the restaurant table, and said one sentence that genuinely healed me spiritually. "You can pick up your stuff tomorrow, but shower before entering my apartment one last time." Absolute cinema, honestly. Then Sophie grabbed her bag, walked out calmly, and according to her, the silence behind her felt incredible, not sad, peaceful. Then came the funniest detail of the entire story. Apparently, 10 minutes after Sophie left, even Ryan's own friends abandoned dinner too, one by one, leaving him sitting alone at the table smelling like ideological failure emotionally. And trust me, the fallout afterward became unbelievably pathetic for Ryan. The next morning, Sophie expected drama, screaming, begging, maybe denial. Instead, Ryan sent her a 4-page email about societal conditioning. "I swear these influences permanently damage people's brains emotionally." And according to Sophie, the entire email basically blamed modern culture, corporations, and feminized expectations for the breakup. Not one real apology anywhere. Huge sign, because manipulative people often care more about defending ego than saying, "Ving relationships." Then came the most unbelievable part. Ryan actually claimed Sophie abandoned him because he became too authentic. Sir, you abandoned Deodorant, not joined philosophical enlightenment. Then Sophie returned to the apartment carefully, while Ryan stayed at the gym temporarily. And honestly, the smell inside nearly knocked her backward spiritually, because once somebody with strong body odor leaves a closed environment, the trapped air becomes horrifying. Gym clothes everywhere, sweaty blankets, used towels piled near the bathroom floor. And according to Sophie, the couch cushions permanently smelled haunted emotionally. Then came another disgusting discovery. Apparently, Ryan secretly stopped washing some dishes properly too because soap residue affects hormones. Excuse me? Sir. This apartment became a public health documentary somehow. Then Sophie started deep cleaning everything aggressively. Sheets, curtains, furniture covers. At one point, she literally wore rubber gloves and opened every window despite freezing weather outside. Honestly, iconic recovery behavior. Then Ryan finally returned later that evening. And according to Sophie, the second he entered the apartment, the smell reappeared immediately despite hours of cleaning already. Terrifying, honestly. Then Ryan tried acting emotionally superior somehow, claimed Sophie couldn't handle real masculinity. Interesting statement from a man carrying garbage bags full of unwashed gym shorts. Then Sophie calmly pointed toward packed boxes near the doorway. No yelling, no argument, done emotionally. And honestly, that calmness clearly unsettled Ryan more than anger would have, because once somebody stops fighting for the relationship, reality finally arrives. Then Ryan attempted another manipulation tactic. He accused Sophie of choosing society over love. Again, interesting, because apparently love now requires surviving bacterial warfare indoors. Then Sophie delivered another brutal line honestly. "No, Ryan, I chose basic hygiene over podcast brain damage. Absolute destruction." Then came the funniest comic detail imaginable. While packing his things, Ryan accidentally opened one gym bag near the apartment entrance, and according to Sophie, the smell became so catastrophic the upstairs neighbor knocked asking if sewage pipes burst some. When actual environmental hazard energy. Meanwhile, Ryan still refused admitting the issue somehow. Then Sophie finally asked the question haunting her for weeks. Do you genuinely not smell yourself anymore? And honestly, Ryan's answer genuinely creeped her out. He said, You only think it smells bad because society trained you to. Sir, at that point, we are spiritually arguing against oxygen itself. Then Ryan left carrying boxes downstairs while muttering about weak modern culture. And according to Sophie, the second the apartment door closed behind him permanently, she felt instant physical relief. Not emotional relief first, physical, like her body finally unclenched after weeks of stress and terrible smells. Honestly, that detail says everything, but trust me, the internet reactions afterwards somehow became even funnier than the actual breakup itself. Now, personally, this story absolutely destroyed me emotionally. Because imagine losing your relationship to anti soap propaganda from a shirtless internet goblin named Marcus Vale. That is genuinely dystopian, honestly. And the internet reactions? Oh my god. People absolutely annihilated R. Yan, top comment said. Bro got radicalized by body odor. Honestly, perfect summary. Another commenter wrote, The waitress offering sanitizer during dinner would have ended my bloodline emotionally. Same honestly. That moment spiritually killed me. Then somebody shared a story that genuinely horrified me. My cousin stopped using deodorant because of podcast masculinity content, and his own dog stopped sleeping near him. See? This apparently happens way more than society should allow. Then came one comment that perfectly captured Ryan's mindset. This person wrote, He didn't want authenticity, he wanted superiority. Exactly, that is the core issue. Ryan acted like basic hygiene somehow made everyone weaker than him spiritually. Meanwhile, people literally avoided standing nearby physically. Then another commenter said, The craziest part is Sophie stayed patient way longer than most people would. Honestly, absolutely true. Most relationships would collapse after week one of anti soap speeches emotionally. Then came my favorite comment easily. Someone wrote, Imagine fumbling a loving girlfriend because a sweaty podcast man told you shampoo is feminism. Beautiful sentence, honestly. Then another commenter pointed out something really important. They wrote, Manipulators love calling boundaries controlling once accountability enters the conversation. Boom, perfectly said. Because Ryan constantly reframed Sophie's discomfort as emotional oppression somehow. Not wanting your boyfriend smelling like cursed gym socks is not controlling, it is a survival instinct. Then came one final comment that genuinely made me laugh out loud. Somebody wrote, Ancient warriors also died at 30 and had parasites. Maybe let's not copy every lifestyle choice. Honestly, excellent point. Then another person shared something surprisingly sad. They explained how online influencers slowly isolate followers emotionally by convincing them normal criticism equals weakness or betrayal. And honestly, that part really fits Ryan perfectly, because once multiple friends, strangers, and even restaurant staff reacted negatively, Ryan still blamed society instead of himself. That level of ego manipulation feels genuinely dangerous. Then came another hilarious detail from Sophie's updates. Apparently, after the breakup, Ryan posted several vague social media rants about women rejecting authentic masculinity. Sir, women rejected your biological attack on indoor air quality. Huge difference. And according to mutual friends, even Marcus Vale's own followers roasted Ryan afterward once screenshots spread publicly. That part honestly healed me spiritually, because even internet alpha bros apparently draw the line somewhere near fungal couch cushions emotionally. Then came my favorite update of all. Several months later, Sophie started dating someone new casually, and according to her, the weirdest green flag imaginable became noticing the new guy smelled clean automatically. Not expensive cologne, just soap, basic soap. Honestly tragic that hygiene became romantic growth after this experience. But trust me, the final update Sophie shared later absolutely buried Ryan permanently. About 8 months after the breakup, Sophie received one final update about Ryan through mutual friends. And honestly, it sounded exactly how everyone expected. Apparently, Ryan's entire natural masculinity phase eventually collapsed publicly. Not because he suddenly gained self awareness, because reality finally punched through. Ugh, the podcast fantasy emotionally. Now remember, Ryan worked in online fitness coaching, meaning his career depended heavily on clients wanting close interaction, workout demonstrations, personal sessions, shared gym environments. Important detail. Very important. Because according to mutual friends, complaints about Ryan's hygiene started affecting his business badly. Clients stopped booking repeatedly. Some people quietly requested different trainers. One gym even allegedly spoke with him privately about professional presentation standards. Boom, corporate language for, please stop smelling haunted. Then things got even worse. Apparently, Ryan developed actual skin irritation problems, eventually from poor hygiene habits. Turns out internet influencers cannot out-argue bacteria forever. And according to Sophie, hearing that did not make her happy exactly, just validated. Because she spent months getting blamed for reacting normally to genuinely unhealthy behavior. Then came the funniest karmic detail imaginable. Marcus Vale, the influencer who inspired all this nonsense, apparently got exposed online later for secretly using expensive skincare products himself. Oh my god, absolute cinema. According to screenshots floating around, the man promoting primitive masculinity privately purchased luxury soaps, facial treatments, and designer cologne. Sir, you detonated relationships for content while moisturizing secretly. Incredible, honestly. And apparently, Ryan lost his mind emotionally after that scandal surfaced, because suddenly the ideology he defended harder than his own relationship turned out fake too. Then mutual friends revealed something even sadder. Ryan apparently tried returning to normal hygiene quietly afterward, started showering regularly again, using deodorant again, even wearing cologne occasionally. Interesting. So society's conditioning disappeared once consequences affected his life long enough, shocking absolutely nobody. Then came the final pathetic detail. Apparently, Ryan drunkenly admitted during one night out that losing Sophie was the biggest mistake of his life. And honestly, good, because some lessons deserve permanent regret attached. Then Sophie ended her final update with one sentence that genuinely made me laugh. She wrote, "The craziest part is I spent weeks winning, daring if I was overreacting to a man who eventually got bullied back into soap by reality." Honestly, perfect summary. Because once somebody manipulates you long enough, even obvious boundaries start feeling unreasonable temporarily. That is why stories like this matter honestly. People need reminders that basic standards are not cruelty. Wanting your partner showering regularly does not make you controlling. It makes you functional. Then came one final internet comment that honestly deserves legendary status. Somebody wrote, "Sophie survived emotional manipulation, biological warfare, and podcast masculinity all in one relationship. Beautifully said. And honestly, that perfectly wraps today's disaster. Take care of yourselves, guys. Protect your peace, protect your nostrils. And maybe never take hygiene advice from shirtless men screaming into microphones online emotionally. Trust me on that one. Anyway, guys, that officially wraps today's Chaos Collection. And honestly, I still cannot believe this entire relationship collapsed because one man decided soap represented societal weakness. That sentence alone feels AI generated emotionally. But weirdly enough, this story actually highlights something important underneath all the jokes. Online influence changes people slowly. At first, it looks harmless. Little phrases, tiny habits, random podcast clips. Then suddenly, somebody starts rejecting reality itself because an internet personality convinced them ordinary behavior equals weakness. And honestly, that progression can become dangerous surprisingly fast. Not just funny, because Ryan did not only stop showering, he stopped listening to everyone around him. His girlfriend, friends, clients, even public reactions. Once somebody treats all criticism as brainwashing, accountability disappears completely. That is the scary part. Then another thing. Manipulative people love weaponizing therapy language and boundaries incorrectly. Ryan constantly called Sophie controlling simply because she wanted basic hygiene standards inside shared living spaces. Number, boundaries are not abuse. Expecting your partner to shower occasionally is not oppression. And honestly, I think a lot of people watching needed hearing that today. Then came one final internet comment that genuinely made me laugh harder than anything else. Somebody, Adi wrote, "Ryan got dumped, lost clients, destroyed his apartment atmosphere, and still almost died defending onion scent masculinity. Honestly, beautiful summary." Then another person said, The real victim here was the couch. Absolutely. That couch survived chemical warfare emotionally. And honestly, Sophie handled everything way more patiently than most people would. She communicated. She tried compassion. She tolerated embarrassment publicly for weeks. Meanwhile, Ryan chose ego repeatedly over reality. Eventually, consequences arrived naturally, which honestly feels fair. Now, if there is one thing I hope everybody remembers from today's story, it is this. Pay attention when someone starts valuing internet validation more than real relationships. That pipeline becomes dangerous fast, especially once basic criticism turns into everyone else is brainwashed. And trust me, any ideology collapsing after one bottle of body wash was never strong masculinity to begin with. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me through all this absolute biological chaos. Hit that subscribe button, save this video for later, and tell me in the comments what W as the craziest part, the anti-soap philosophy, the restaurant sanitizer moment, or the influencer secretly using luxury skincare products the whole time. Honestly, the dog avoiding Ryan's side of the couch still destroys me emotionally. Take care of yourselves, stay safe, stay clean, and I will see you guys in the next one.